Are we doing, boys and girls? Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. This is Sparta. 7-day work week. Yeah, a little bit. Stuff to do, though, you know? Stuff to do. And I thought, consider it... Oh, hang on. It's hella echoey in here. Hang on. I'm going to have to fix this echo. Please hold. Back in a second. Right, that should be better. We should be good now. Little bit of soundproofing on the go. Oi oi Sunday. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this. Honestly, I have lots of professions I need to level and not very long to do it in. So I thought if I'm going to blast through some profession leveling, we're not going to get in too much detail with them. But I've been a busy bee. Busy bee. The cheat sheet is what I'm trying to do. One of the first things I'm trying to do is track where everything comes from. Quite simply, where everything comes from. So I've so far, you can't see this bit too easily because it's behind my big face, but I've started to go through the professions and I've started to jot down whether it's a trainer recipe, if it comes through the spec tree, if it comes from a renown or something along those lines. So what I needed to do initially is to have every single pattern, you know, noted down and start filling in the boxes. That's kind of been my plan. Yesterday, I spent ages because I'm not the best typer at the best of times. I can, you know, I can touch type, but I'm not exactly super speedy at it. But I went through and I, you know, made it look somewhat pretty. Got everything in place for all of the professions. Now I need to level some of them and start filling these boxes in. So that's what we're doing today. And as I'm going to be zerging through a bunch of, that's meant to say salt baked. See, there's going to be typos all over the place, I'm sure. We are going to need to just fire through a bunch of them today. I'm going to start with enchanting, and we'll see where we get. Oh, I should also state that I made a few adjustments to the prospecting sheet as well. We worked out yesterday that when you spec full into prospecting in the spec tree, you do get significantly different prospecting results. So we started to track different ores on the basis of you being, you know, a max prospector, because the yields are different. What I also then went and did is prospected a whole shitload of all of the different ores, so that we've got some, hopefully, sort of reliable data. That's the hope, at least. But anyway, I'm waffling already. We're gonna bang through a whole bunch of profession leveling, nice and quick time. And I thought I'd bring you guys along for the journey while we do it. I have some pretty... Do you think I like hunters? Good morning. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you be. I didn't get particularly creative with my character names, I'm not going to lie. But right, enchanting. Let's get this one blasted through. Let's give us some in-game audio. Guess it's afternoon for you. It's 3 PM. It's just gone 3 PM for me. Very odd time for me to be streaming, I'm not going to lie. Right, this character is our enchanter. Do I even have enchanting leveled yet in any way, shape or form? Hello? Ah, I know what it is. I worked out that some of my add-ons, excuse me, are doing crazy things. Disable all add-ons, go away. This realm is not add-on friendly at all. There we go. Much better. No, apparently not. Oh, yeah, it's thinking about it. Good, good, good. Blizz could remove the profession material vendors anytime. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very tempted to just fill a guild bank full of materials just in case they do. I'm very tempted to just fill a guild bank on this realm so that even if they do take them away, I have a big supply of them to play around with. Notice you can't prospect for materials in the reagent bank. You need to have it on your character. There is a lot of little things like that that just straight up doesn't work on the beta. For example, the auction houses aren't linked. You know, 9.2.7 turned up and they linked all the auction houses together for commodities. Not the case on the beta. I thought that there might be a cheesy way of getting tens of thousands of fish to my other character. Turns out there's not. So... yeah, there's a bunch of little things like that. Plus, the fact that you can only prospect 1,000 ore in a go. You can't just buy 10,000 ore, load it all into your bank or in your bags or in your guild bank or whatever and prospect it all in one go. But it depends just how much we are going to actually prospect in Dragonflight. This is the thing, right? Because... without trying to aggressively chase essences, I don't think we're going to be prospecting half as much as we used to. So I don't think it's going to matter too much. Right, I'm already waffling. I need a runed enchanted rod. Can I get one from you guys somewhere? Who's going to sell me a profession tool? Runed copper rod. There we go. One of those. We're going to need some mats. We're going to need 1,000 chromatics, probably more. We're going to need 1,000... Oh, they stack in 3. That's annoying. Oh, so I can't actually buy exactly 1,000. That's really just quite annoying. My OCD is not going to allow that to be a thing. I can buy more than 1,000. And then I can dump these. Haha. Just like that. Then we need 1,000 of these. Because that's going to be a thing, obviously. If I remember right, enchanting needs a bunch of the rousing stuff. But we'll buy it when we need it. I'm trying to quick fire through these. This is kind of half my plan. We can go back and we can, you know, dig deep. And we can investigate more. My goal is to track as many of the patterns as possible and get some basic leveling done. But do these only stack to 200? Vellum's only stack to 200. Well, today I learn. That's going to be hella annoying, actually, once the... Whoa. Can these please also stack to 1,000? Thanks. Go. Put that on the bar. Right, let's get this little bit leveled up. Then let's see what's what. Okay, can we select it to enchant on a thing? We can select it to enchant on a thing. Single one per point. Let's do 3 more. I've just realised I probably shouldn't be streaming the music I'm streaming. Not that I care too much anymore. But let's go back to something a little bit more chill. Have you found there's any professions worth having duplicates across alts? Not really, simply because I don't feel it's going to be all that feasible for people to maintain alts anywhere near as much as they might be able to maintain primary professions, primary characters. The truth be told is that there's going to be a lot of time that's going to need to be invested to unlocking all of the extra patterns. This is going to mean you are probably going to need to dedicate a lot of time to going out and getting them. And the ability to do that on multiple characters is just doubling, tripling, quadrupling your time investment. Ultimately meaning that unless you actually have 20 plus hours a day to play the game, I probably wouldn't recommend it. You'd be much better off, you know, leveling just another profession rather than doubling them up. The only one that I can somewhat justify is leatherworking, just because you have the choice of going with leather or you have the choice of going with mail, and then you could specialize even further in them. But even then, it's kind of hard to justify. It's not like Shadowlands where you had, you know, 20 minutes of work to level them up. It's substantially more long-term time investment worth of effort to level them up. So, and the skill points you put into one area will still benefit others. For example, with jewel crafting, we were thinking about, well, what happens if we just have a pocket jewel crafter that's spec'd purely into prospecting? And then your main character can be spec'd into gems or can be spec'd into something else or whatever the case may be. And realistically, that doesn't make a whole bunch of sense, because all of the spec points that you put into your main character will be gaining you things like resourcefulness, and will be gaining you inspiration, and will be gaining you, you know, these other secondary stats that will still be beneficial when you're prospecting. So there's still not really much of a justification even there. Did you see THD Lock's tweet about his bags after he did some profession leveling? Yeah, bags are, if you care about professions in any way, shape or form, your bag space is going to be destroyed. There is practically no free slots that will be available. I can tell you that much. They gave us one extra bag slot, which is specifically for reagents. Cool, great. But you gave us 3 times as many materials, potentially 3 times as many quality of potions and stuff that you'll be carrying around. Because guess what? If there's 3 different qualities of potions, there'll be 3 different costs of said potions. And you, as a top-end player, might not necessarily want to bankroll always using tier 3 most expensive potions. If this is a pull where you feel you might down the boss, right, everybody, top quality potions now, press the buttons. But if you're just progressing, it's still probably going to be required that for the purpose of doing reasonable DPS, you'll still want to use a potion, but you might not want to use your tier 3 super duper mega expensive ones. You might, you know, settle for the cheaper option because you're not going to kill the boss yet. You're just learning the thing. So you're probably going to carry, I would imagine, the big boys out there that are progressing. On progression, people will probably carry 2 different qualities of the potions, unless, of course, they're just Mr. Moneybags and don't care, and then they'll just buy all tier 3 quality potions. But twice as many, 3 times as many materials, 3 times as many things you're probably going to look at carrying around. 1 bag does not cut it, Blizzard. Rip bag space. Rip bag space. For sure. Luckily, I don't have to faff about with half of that, but I feel slightly concerned for my bank character. I struggle with the amount of things that I sell on a single character as it is already. Just look for reference. Just consider. Take a little bit of a look at this, just ever so quickly. If we blast through this, I'm getting well distracted already. You guys are doing a real good job of distracting me. Just crafting, let's theoretically say you have a couple of professions, and you're just trying to craft one of everything. Even one of everything is a lot of things very quickly. There's close to, I don't know, I haven't counted the numbers. I probably could do a quick sanity count of these. We start at 15, we get all the way to 80, and you double that. That's 100 plus inscription patterns. Obviously in the here I've got your reagents and stuff, but there's 100 plus things there just for inscription. Let's say ballpark, you got 50 to 100 items for each profession you're trying to sell. You might have different qualities of those that you're dealing with as you're leveling up. Bag space is going to be done. Absolutely done. I'm going to need 4 bank characters just to post everything. It's going to be gross. I thought the new bags would have more slots than the normal bags. You and me both. When quizzed about it, you know, in Hazakostis was like, you know what? We're going to... oh, how big are these new bags going to be? They're going to be big. Big, he says. Big. Huge, in fact. Massive. Little bit white lies there, me feels. Same size as a regular ass bag, then what's the point? If it's the same size as a regular ass bag, just let us use regular ass bags in that slot. Why does it need to be a reagent specific bag? Freaking huge bags, mate. Huge. Biggest you've ever seen. I'm yo-yoing on my opinion when it comes to enchanting quite a lot though. I'm very, very disappointed with the state of inscription of this profession, enchanting, because it's hella boring. It's mad level boring. You've got no quality to be contesting with in terms of materials because your dust, your shards, and your crystals don't have quality. They seem to have stripped the desire to need anything else to craft anything else for the most part, unless it's like a, you know, the enchants themselves, it's just basic bitch dust and shards. They've practically done nothing with it, which I think is a bit sad, you know. I think they could have, they could definitely have put more effort into this. It's going to be a very, I would actually go as far as to say that enchanting is going to be an easy profession. When you start looking at something like jewel crafting is the exact opposite. Jewel crafting is about as complicated as a profession gets. Because you're dealing with prospecting, which we've already seen is just a clusterfuck of, you know, nobody that just casually plays the game going to be doing this, right? No way, shape, or form is anybody casually going to just be understanding this.
Let's make sweet, sweet profit together.
Double Bock, thank you very much for the tier 1. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. There is absolutely no chance that your average Joe is going to mess around working out prospecting and all of this sort of stuff. But if somebody wants an easy profession, enchanting really does fall into that category. The only time you're dealing with quality is on the outcome. The input is the same regardless, and so it becomes quite simple in some regards about tracking your costs. Because, you know, if you're buying your shards and you're buying your dust and you're buying your crystals, it's pretty easy work. All you got to do is then, you know, you might have 3 different prices depending on what you're crafting. And then obviously your skill, it's a lot easier to work out what's kind of going on here. It's removing some of the complexity by not having materials having a quality on them. So it's going to be a quite easy profession, I reckon, for people to get up and running with. But also then you've got the flip side of that they're going to be commodities. So they're on the region-wide auction house. So it's going to end up very quickly like Shadowlands does, where practically every enchant is a sub profit enchant. Because it's a real simple process, right? It's really, really simple. The more complexity there is within a profession, the greater the chance is that you'll be able to make gold with it. Because if you bust your way through the complexity and you figure it all out, you're going to have an advantage over the people that haven't figured it all out. The people that are just, you know, running blind, just leveling things up casually. Oh, they got a few materials, you know, whilst leveling a character. Let's just craft a few things and see what happens. There's not really going to be much of that available, unfortunately. How does alchemy look in your opinion? Quite cool, but also, I imagine, excruciatingly frustrating come live. The chances, because the entire profession is based on discovery, or for the most part, practically all of your potions and all of your vials, your new flasks, are based upon... What's going on here? Why can't I talk to you? Are based upon a cooldown based discovery system. So, yeah. Let's see how people take to that when it goes live. Especially considering a lot of people roll alchemy just because, you know, double time on your flasks and stuff means that a lot of people just have alchemy just because. And it's one that people more casually dabble with. This, though, is nice. Select a target for your enchanting. Select how many you want and press a button. No more, you know, single enchant, single click shenanigans. I'm glad for that one. 2 thumbs up on that one. Is there any artisan's metal from crafting enchanting? Not currently, no. There doesn't seem to be any first craft bonuses on enchanting at the moment. I can even filter what it claims to have a first chance bonus, and it says all of these should. It says practically everything should, but it doesn't give me a first enchant bonus. Not on a vellum, though. I wonder if it works if we put it on a piece of gear. What happens if I put it on a piece of gear instead? No, it just doesn't work. That's just a system that doesn't work yet. It should, but it's probably busted. 32. We need a few more. Let's get 3 more of these, I guess. I just want to get a picture of what enchanting looks like once you've maxed out the vendor-specific ones. Vendor-specific patterns. Let's get a quick overview of it while we're doing it. So by the time we hit 40, we have everything that the trainer's going to teach us. That's very early, actually. That's really early. Only at this point do we start needing any materials that aren't dust or whatever. Yeah, very dull, very straightforward. There's no sauce on it. It's just plain chicken. After 2 weeks, only tier 3 materials are still relevant. Not really, no, because it flips back on itself. Once you have enough basic amount of skill that you don't need... enchanting doesn't showcase this very well because there's not... there's no material quality in the first place. But once your personal skill supersedes that of what the recipe difficulty is, you can then tone back again. You can then say, right, well, I don't need the skill bonus from using high quality materials. I can now step back. You know, I meet the recipe difficulty. My natural skill is good enough. Now I can go back to using only tier 2 quality materials while still maintaining the same quality of craft, which is directly cutting your crafting costs down. And then eventually your skill will exceed it by so much that you can go back to using only tier 1 quality materials. And by towards the end, it's actually weird. It's going to be almost the other way around, that there's going to be a big demand for use of these higher quality materials to begin with, because people don't have enough skill themselves. They need the skill of the extra quality materials to give you that bump to push your ability to craft high quality things. But once you can do it relatively simply, because you're an absolute boss of a crafter, you can tone back the materials you use while still achieving the same results, which is the intended plan of it anyway. But that's probably, especially on the end game stuff, your leveling stuff, you'll do that probably quite quickly. But your end game stuff, where you're fulfilling work orders for people, there's going to be the requirement to be using top quality materials most of the time. So can they not add colors and not just arrows in the color to whatever is giving skill? Yeah, I share the same opinion. I wish they'd give the option to go back to the old one. I would like to see the entire thing be yellow or orange or something. I know why they've removed it. They went to the icon thing, or so they claim. They went back to the icon thing so that, you know, it would be easier for people to, you know, a visual indication for like the visually impaired. It's an accessibility thing. But I still think they should have left the original button, you know. I need some rousings. That's what I was trying to do. I need some rousings.
Sweet profit.
What do we got going on here? Where's my rousings?
9 months. Goblin baby time.
Goblin babies. Seducer, my man. Goblin babies, welcome in. All them goblin babies. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good weekend. Oh, I should have bought the awakened ones and then just broke them down. That would have been more sensible. Right, this one. Hang on, was that a... Oh, right, yeah. One of those 5 times. Go. What's special for a weekend stream? Well, profession vendors are a thing. And I have somewhat of a concern they might take them away. So if they take them away,
hello there.
I'm going to be, you know, sad panda. So what I need to do is just zerg use of them, which means 7 days this week. We're pumping. My Twitch dashboard doesn't know what's going on. Who be this? Pashas, how we doing, Adam? Welcome in. Hope you're having a good weekend. Right, let's... Where's it gone? Enchanting. Now that's everything. Absolutely everything we get from the trainer. All trainer recipes. It's really not a lot. You get your basic weapon enchants. The basic weapon enchants. Even the basic weapon enchants are the ones that start using the crystals. They've rebalanced some of this. They've rebalanced it. And they then start using a lot of awakened. That crystal is going to be ludicrously expensive in the first few weeks. It's going to be really funny. Okay, so that's everything we get from there. Let's start jotting down where we get trainery stuff from. Let's go enchanting. Right, let's start jotting this down. Right, finishing reagents. These are trainer. These are trainer ones. Cloak enchantments. The writs we get from trainers. These ones we're going to have to get from somewhere else then. Bracer enchantments. We don't get any chest enchantments from the vendor, from the trainer. We're going to have to do something to learn all of those. Okay, that's a fun one. Avoidance, leech, and speed all come from the trainer. Ring, no boot enhancements. Ring enhancements. Devotion of crit. Oh, we get... Oh! That's a turn up for the books. Every single ring enchantment comes from the trainer. Wow. I'll take it. I'll take it. Weapons, we only got the writs. We only got the basic ones, right? Burning, earthen, frozen, titanic, and wafting, yeah. Right, what about these then? Rods and wands. Any profession tools? No profession tool enhancements. Ooh, I wonder where we end up getting this one from. This is the one I care about. Draconic Inspiration. This is going to be an absolute money printer, I'm telling you. Or if I have anything to do with it, it will be. Because if you're smart, you'll focus on inspiration. Forget these other fancy resources when crafting. Your resourcefulness, your multi-craft, your crafting speed, you can get them later. You can get them later. You want inspiration. You want to be stacking inspiration like a moron. Because the more inspiration you have, the greater the chance there is you'll be crafting stuff at a higher quality. And that's what you want. You want to max quality, and then you can, min-max quantity. Right, runed draconic rod. So some of these we get from a trainer. The enchanted Wraithbark wand and the runed Tiravite rod. So we get 3 out of the 5. And then we get what appears to be a big chunk of the illusionary goods. Illusory adornments. Air, earth, fire, and frost. Not the order. Okay. And then the Sceptre of Spectacle. Once again, not the order version. No shatters. No ability to shatter from the trainer. You're going to have to do something to work out how to shatter. Interesting. Right, now let's filter through the spectres and work out if there's anything we get through the spectres. So enhancement tree plus skill plus inspiration, subspec, resourcefulness, subspec, inspiration, and resourcefulness. So nothing from that one. Where are we going this way? Primal. Learn to harness the primal elements of the Dragon Isles, getting +1 skill. Okay, this doesn't directly teach us anything. But are there any nodes that teach us anything? Apparently not. It's going to be these then. Burning. Is this... Learn to craft burning devotion. That's a weapon. That's a weapon one, right? That's a weapon one. So, burning devotion. Spectre. The inspiration nodes are good. You can get extra gear or the extra item level. Yeah, exactly. Pushing quality is going to be really, really important. Especially if you're one of the first people to push into that next bracket of quality. You're going to have, the market yourself. It's human nature that players are going to want the top quality whatever's available. It doesn't matter if the top quality one available is only quality 2, but people will pay more for the quality 2 than a quality 1. Now obviously as time goes on, quality 3, quality 4, quality 5, if it's like crafted armor and weapons, will turn up. But there's this, slow and steady progression of it, which is nice. So you stack inspiration, make it so that when you're crafting stuff, there's a more frequently are you going to be pushing into the higher qualities. It's going to be really worthwhile. Super Sloppy Sloth, welcome in, my man. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Nice little time sink. Yeah, it's nice that the professions are going to keep people busy for a while. People like me that don't do much raiding, don't do much Mythic Plus or whatever, are going to be very keen to, level up some characters, a bunch of characters probably, and have a little bit of a play with many of these professions. So enchantments, the node is called, what's the node called? Burning. And then you unlock it straight away. There's no delay. You get it straight away, and then you put 5 points in it, and you just get better at making it. And then 10 points in it, you get the finishing reagents. Okay. Get it straight away. Now, my assumption probably then would be right to say that each one of these is the same. So Earth and Devotion is going to come from here. Frozen. Yeah, these are all going to come from here. Burning, earthen, frozen, titanic, and wafting. So just unlocking these nodes is what's going to give you the better weapon enchants. So let's change these names. Earthen. Frozen. How do you spell it? Titanic. And then wafting. Gonna have to make a note of what secondary stats for crafting mean or do one of these days. First things though, time for some lunch. Enjoy the stream. Yeah, they're not too difficult to get your head round. I mean, some of them are quite straightforward. Multi-craft sort of speaks for itself, and crafting speed sort of speaks for itself. Inspiration, just consider it like luck. Just consider inspiration luck. What is your chance to be lucky? And when you are lucky, you craft something, you know, at a higher... You have more skill when you become lucky. That's the easy way. That's the way I tend to think about inspiration. And resourcefulness is just that, you know, if your resourcefulness is what's the chance that I will make this and use less materials when doing it. Which is kind of is going to kind of feel a little bit... Resourcefulness is a weird one, right? Because you get a bunch of materials together, then you go out and you make something, and then you have some materials left. It's like if anybody's ever bought a wardrobe from IKEA, and you end up with 3 screws left at the end, and you're like, shit, I don't think I should have these 3 screws left. Something about this doesn't feel right, and you just keep your fingers crossed that the wardrobe doesn't fall down in 2 years' time. Right, what else have we got in here then? Material manipulations. Resourcefulness, skill, subspec, inspiration, skill. We're looking for the unlock of recipes. Nothing unlocked there. Oh, devotion of avoidance. What the hell is devotion of avoidance? I don't even recognize that one. Devotion of avoidance? Hello? Are you even on my list? Oh, they're bracer enchants. Oh, nice. So the bracer enchants are over this way. Devotion of avoidance. Same tree, but the node is called adaptive. And you need no skill points in it. You just need to unlock it. Is that the same? Artistry, I guess, is going to be... Oh, there it is. There's the one I care about. There's the one I care about. The artistry one is where you learn draconic inspiration. This pattern's going to be huge. Monstrous. What was the node called? Artistry. I can't spell to save my life. Artistry. And you unlock it upon unlocking the node. Lovely, lovely. Happens all the time when I put an engine back together. Keep the parts in the shoebox. Never need them. Yeah, exactly. Until the car just stops working one day. This thing's massive. This draconic inspiration's massive, because if you take a little bit of a looky at what the recipe actually does, if we show the unlearned ones, where's it gone? It's a profession tool enhancement. This thing permanently enchants a crafting tool to increase your inspiration by 150. That is a monstrous quantity. 150 inspiration, for reference, is 15% inspiration, which is actually ridiculous. So much so that that's practically game changing. I will be hunting down one of these faster than you can blink. Even if it means I have to like laser focus it on my engineer, on my enchanter myself, I will do it, because that thing's super powerful. So powerful that I suspect it will get nerfed, because that's outrageous. Do you think it'd be worth to stockpile some goblin gliders now since they're dirt cheap right now? Probably not. For the first time ever, I don't think goblin gliders are going to have much of effect. Within 40 minutes, you unlock dragon riding. Within 40 minutes of landing on the Dragon Isles, you've got dragon riding. So I can't imagine there's going to be anywhere near the demand for goblin gliders. And the reality is like, sure, you might sell them for 50 gold a piece if you buy them for 10, but it's you'd have to sell them in such a huge quantity for it to make it worthwhile. I probably wouldn't bother. Does this give us anything else, though? We learned Draconic Inspiration here. Learn to craft... Oh, there's a second one in here. Draconic Resourcefulness. Draconic Resourcefulness comes from here, too. Draconic Resourcefulness. How many points was that in? Was that... Game, do game things. Hang on, hang on. Oh my lord, oh no, I've broken stuff. There we go. That was 15 points in. So we can change this to 15 so people know how many points they need to spend to get it. Thanks for the time and effort going through the spreadsheet for Dragonflight. Although the Shadowlands one is free, I do hope you're able to be compensated properly in Dragonflight for this one via Patreons or other means. A lot of us have our wallets and purpose ready to support you in this regard. For starters, thank you. Secondly, I'm thinking that I want to try and be able to provide as much as I physically can for free. But this Dragonflight cheat sheet, you are right, is taking me a significant amount of time and development for sure. What I was thinking of doing is... It's very much broken and in development right now, but I was going to give it to all of my patrons and supporters. You know, right now, it's not ready, it's not complete, but there's still information in it that's worthwhile. You know, consider it a bit of an early access sort of thing. Patreon subs, YouTube members, that sorts of things can have early access to it, but with the obvious caveat that it's beta now, and it may not be 100% correct, but my goal is to try and give it to as many people as possible once Dragonflight launches. So we'll see what happens. I've not fully decided, but I too would, you know, like to make sure that, you know, I can keep the bills paid whilst playing a silly video game. That's the dream, right? But I'm also very cautious to try and give as much for free as possible. Magical reinforcement. Oh, another one. Waking stats. Waking stats. Learn to craft waking stats. What's waking stats for? Waking stats is... I can't find waking stats on my list. Does it have a... Oh, that's the chest enhancement. Oh, that's the big one. Oh, that's the one you really want. Ooh, shiny. What's this called? Magical reinforcement. Enhancements. The node was called magical reinforcement. Do you get it straight away? You get it straight away at 0. Do you have goblin greed? I think everybody has a touch of goblin greed, you know. But is it considered greedy to want to try and keep food on the table? Talking about the haul from the food market yesterday, the wife did come home with some incredibly stinky cheese, which was incredibly tasty, and has given me a bit of a cheese hangover. And it was blue Stilton, and boy oh boy was it ripe. My lord. Anybody who eats a lot of blue cheese will understand what a blue cheese hangover is. You end up with loopy ass dreams and you feel like you've just eaten a bag of salt the next day. It was very tasty. It was very tasty. Right, learn to craft reserve of intellect. This is another one. Loads of patterns for enchanting come from the Spectre, far more than I've seen through other professions. I was half expecting, you know, to have a lot more professions come through the Spectre. But I guess that somewhat puts a time gating aspect on a lot of the patterns, which maybe they were reluctant to do. I don't even know what this reserve of intellect is, though. I can't find that on my list. Reserve of intellect. There isn't anything called reserve of intellect. The problem is it might have been renamed. Oh no, there is one called reserve of intellect. I'm a donkey. Or. There we go. It's a chest enhancement. Magical reinforcement tree. Hang on, where's me? What do I do with it? Oh, hang on. I'm breaking things. Why didn't the last one save? Hang on. Waking stats is also there. Magical reinforcement. Hang on, too many letters in that. Magical reinforcement. And this is the same, but how many skill points in? 20 skill points in. 20 skill points in. There we go. That looks a bit better now. That looks a bit better. Somebody must have been real hungry when moldy cheese was discovered. Probably. Although when you think about it logically, we eat things like eggs, which in and of itself is a bit odd, right? Because the first people to eat eggs understood what an egg was, right? They understood what the egg was before they decided to steal it from the chicken and eat it first. So, you know, we're weird. Let's just put it that way. We're weird. Insight of the Blue. Interesting name for specialization. Oh, this is one I feel that I need to test, you know. Learn to increase your magical perception, gaining a small chance to locate disenchantable items. I've not quite worked out, and it may take a bit of testing to work out what the hell this even does. What does it even mean? Does it mean that your disenchanting is just better? Or does it mean that you have a better chance of finding random ass items that can then be disenchanted? I don't know. But we can figure that out another day. Today I'm trying... There we go. Plus 5% chance to locate disenchantable items. It's magic find, right? Enchanters are getting magic find baked in. %10 chance to locate disenchantables. It's got to be. It's a straight up magic find skill. Learn to increase your disenchanting potency, gaining a small chance to acquire additional reagents. Ooh. Crystalline shatter. There we go. There's the ticket to one of our shatters. Where's that on my list? Which one is it? Which one was it? Crystalline shatter. So that's a Spectre ability. And it comes from... Hang on. It's a Spectre ability, and it comes from Insight of the Blue. Insight of the Blue. And the node is called... What's the node called? Draconic Disenchantment. Oh, Lord. We're going to have to shorten some of this. This is ridiculously long. Draconic Disenchantment. Did we learn it straight away?
Just glad to see me.
We learned it. 10 points in. 10 points in. Avalon with the Prime Gaming. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying. In Guild Wars 2, you get drops from random items that are only good for scrapping. I wonder if it'll end up be similar to that. It could very well be. That could be exactly it. There could be. This is one of those things that you don't need to test it too aggressively, because the items will get data mined, and somebody will just work it out. oh, this is the item that you get when you, so that you can disenchant it and you get materials. Oh, okay. And it will all start to just make sense. So there's our first shatter then. That's the shatter for crystalline shatter, presumably is the shatter of shards into dust, alright? Shatter an enchanting reagent into 3 of a lesser rarity. Oh no! That's just straight up, here you go, shatter stuff. There's an elemental shatter, which allows you to shatter an awakened element to gain its power. Oh, this is the one I was keen to test, you know. Because this feels like it gives you a buff. Alright, getting distracted. Focus. Focus. Right, learn to better disenchant armor and profession equipment, gaining a small chance to acquire additional vibrant shards. Another surprise stream. Yeah, 7-day week this week. We're pumping. 5% chance to acquire additional reagents. 10% skill when making enchantments. Learn to better disenchant weapons, gaining a small chance to acquire additional resonant crystals. That will be big for the first few that get that. For sure. That will be big. But no new patterns then. Learn to improve your essence extraction, gaining a small chance to acquire additional essences. What's a primal extraction? Hello? That's not even a thing. Is that meant to be what? Hello? Hang on. Real confused now. Especially since I'm in a massive lag spike. Hello, game? Are we good? No. Hello? My computer says no. Oh, there we go. Earned when... Learn to better extract the essences within primal elements, gaining plus 1% chance to acquire additional essences per point in this specialization. But when and how and why and who and all of the above, when do enchanters extract essences? Okay, read on. Read on, we'll find out. Learn to craft elemental shatter. Okay, well that's 10 points into this spec tree. Okay, there's part of the puzzle coming to play. This is the Insight of the Blue one again. But instead it's also, what's this now called? Primal Extraction. So I know I don't have the spreadsheet up on stream, but it's 10 times easier for me to just have it on a side screen. So 10 points in, okay. Learn to craft Order Elemental. Okay, sure, we'll go with that. I don't know what Order Elemental is, but we'll find this out. 20 points there. Just realised the reset knowledge on my enchanter on the non-level 70 realm. Yeah, for some reason they reset a lot of the knowledge points over there. I'm not entirely sure why. They claimed it was for the greater good or something. I can't remember what it was. Further study the shattering process, improving your skill at crafting with the shattered essence while its power lingers within you. Hey, we got to test enchanting in a little bit more detail. You know, I need to start pumping this. I need to give enchanting a proper playthrough, because this could be the ticket to actually making it quite fun. If you can, if you know, it could be such that you pop a how do you do this? You shatter an elemental. You take the cost of an elemental. It gives you a buff. That buff then means you can go away and you can do X, Y, and Z. I don't know. Could be quite interesting. I need to pay more attention to this. That could be quite fun. $240k profit from Legos this week. I think it's time to close the shop. I'm amazed you're making that much profit. To get 240k profit means your turnover must still be million plus, surely. Although I'm quite sure if I actually recrafted and relisted my legendaries more than once a day, I'd make some more sales. But rods, runes, and ruses. Crafting speed, skill, subspec, skill, subspec. Crafting speed, subspec, skill, and okay, so nothing pattern-wise. Learn to use optional reagents. It doesn't teach us anything though. Learn to craft the runed Casgarite rod. Okay, there's one we need to pay attention to. That's one we need to pay attention to. So, runed Casgarite rod. Where's that? Rods and wands. Here we go. So that is rods, runes, and ruses. Hang on. Why is there a T in that? Rods, runes, and ruses. The node is called rods and wands. And how many points in was it? Did we get it instantly? No. We got it 10 points in. 10. Cool. Beautiful. Learn to craft Torch of Primal Awakening. Oh, that's the last rod that we need. And we get that 25 points in. So we can just do a copy paste on that one. Copy paste 25 points in. Nice. Inspiration when making rods. In blah, blah, blah. Finishing reagents. Okay. Illusory goods. Hey, 180k profit on uncanny male legs in 3 days. Crafting cost of 400 gold each. How are you selling uncanny male legs so frequently? Hello? It's like you've gone back in time 2 years. What's going on? Fair play. The NA vendor craft is so much more profitable when the token's only 200 to 200. Yeah. NA has it good when it comes to token prices for sure. Sept of Spectacle Order. Ah, this is one I was hunting for. Sept of Spectacle Order. That one comes from Rods, Runes, and Ruses, but what's the node called? Illusory Goods. It's quite convenient, you know. On a Sunday, I usually sit down and watch the UFC, but it's very convenient that the UFC took a week off. 15. Nicely convenient. A few Legos still have good profit. The rest are so bad. Work days I repost only once. Reposted 5 times yesterday and today. Too much like hard work. Sounds it. Illusory Adornment Order. Illusionary Adornment Order. There we go. How many points was that? The full whack. 30 points. Big boy plays for that one. Big boy plays for that one. What is it? Illusory Adornment Order. Adornment Order. Temporarily imbues the shoulders with a titanic illusion for 1200 seconds. Oh. It's boring, that's what it is. It's temporary enchanted transmog. 0 shits are given then. Dunno, but they bought it for 45k each. Damn. I'm amazed you were still posting them. Those things have like a 40, 45 gold crafting posting fee. The deposit fees on those things is disgusting. That's why I just vended all of them. Right, resourcefulness writ. Okay, that's just a flat-out resourcefulness bonus. And is this going to be the same? Yeah, this is just the same. It's just going to... This is the node you pick if you just want to stack if you're stacking inspiration. Okay, right. So that's then the list somewhat a little bit more full. Not entirely, but it looks a little bit better than it did when we started. Most things we're starting to get an understanding of where they come from. We still need to find a few cloak enhancements, a couple of chest ones, a couple of bracers, the leech and the speed ones. We still haven't found any boot enchantments, at least not through trainers or through spec trees. So the reality is the majority of the other ones are probably going to come from renown in some way, shape or form. There might be some oddball ones that requires you to fish it up or something silly, but if it doesn't come from the trainer and if it doesn't come from the spec tree, the most obvious place for it to come from would be from a renown, from a reputation. So we'll look through the reputations at some point as well to fill some gaps in. There's a lot of the illusions that we seem to be missing. Primal Invocation Extract, Royal Disenchanting Rod. 2, I don't even know what they are, but it seems odd we don't have them. And the Profession Tool enhancements, Deafness, Finesse are... In fact, Deafness, Finesse, and Perception. All the Gathering ones. Where have they hidden all of the Gathering enhancements? Or enchantments, I should say. I still say enhancements. Enchantments. Where have they hidden the Gathering ones? Rip Druid farmers. We'll find them at some point. Right, so that was enchanting. That was enchanting. Any last minute questions on enchanting before we move to a new profession? I'll give you guys 2 minutes to throw any questions relating to enchanting before we move on. Is reputation account wide? There's a short answer, which is mostly yes. The long answer is your patterns are not. So if you are looking to... If you need to level a reputation to gain a pattern, you will need to do it on that character. But cause there is a lot of stuff that is account wide. All the cosmetics, your dragon riding cosmetics, they're all account wide as well. Obviously, you know, like toys and that sort of stuff is. But under normal, like any power gaining stuff is character specific. So if a reputation sells you a piece of armor, it sells you a weapon. If it sells you a profession pattern, you need to actually do that reputation on that character. Right, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break ever so quickly, and then we'll move on. We'll move on to, what's the next one on my list? Engineering. Oh, Lord. Engineering. We're going to take a little bit of a look at engineering. We're going to speed level engineering as much as speed leveling engineering is possible, because there's lots of intermediates. But we're going to do a pattern scouting for these guys. I'll be back with you in 2 minutes, boys and girls. Alrighty. We good. Can't even copy alts on Valdrakken. No, Valdrakken's a purely... it's a very heavily customized test realm. You're going to have the profession vendors on Valdrakken. It's also where you're going to get pre-made characters for testing raids, for testing Mythic Plus, this sort of stuff. They don't want people copying in their alts because alts are going to have far too much variety of, you know, gear and all sorts of stuff on them. So the Valdrakken realm is for, you know, quite intense amounts of testing. Pre-made 70s, but at the moment it's just all profession stuff. Right, engineering then. The one, you guys might enjoy my character name for. We're going to jump onto S tier gold. S tier gold is our engineer. Because it's a bit of a meme, you can't make any money with engineering. Not strictly true, but it's more utility-based profession than power-based, which is why it's never quite as lucrative. Oh, hang on, we got a bunch of add-ons on again. Right then. Do we have engineering? Let's put it on the bars. Alright. One thing I will say is that engineering has a lot of patterns. A lot. When I was writing them all out, there was a lot of patterns. Found a list for the Dragon Scale Renown on Wowhead if you want to know which profession patterns they have. Thank you. But I tend not to rely too heavily on Wowhead. I would rather see it with my own eyes. I've had enough testing experience to realise that Wowhead is not always totally reliable. Any downside to leveling all the professions at once? Well, it depends. Can you find a 25th hour in the day? If you can, go ahead. But the time will quickly become your enemy if you're trying to do that. You're very heavily going to need to get to high levels to be able to do a lot of this stuff. Leveling a whole bunch of alts to 70 is not going to be a quick and easy thing to do. Where's me tool? I'm going to need some materials, but we are going to need an ultimate gnoming knife thing to begin with. I play with engineering so infrequently, I don't even know what the main bits and bobs we're going to need is. We are probably going to need a lot of Tiravite, and I would guess a lot of elementals. In fact, all of the ores I would fathom to be what we probably need. Where's me? Here he is. Here he is. Just buy a bunch of that. Buy a bunch of that. I'm sure we're going to need a bunch of this as well. We're not actively testing the leveling process right now, so it doesn't matter too much what we use. Let's grab us some of the elementals as well. Where have they gone? Oh, they're on you. I should know this by now, shouldn't I? Let's grab the Awakened, because we can always break them down. This is something that they changed recently that I'm not entirely sure I agree with. Of that, you can now take Awakened and turn them into Rousing, and you can also convert Rousing into Awakened again, with zero conversion cost, which is something that I tend to object against, because at that point, why have two materials? Just make one use a multiple in quantity of the other. It seems silly to have it so that you can, you know, it just seems silly. Why have two totally separate materials when I can go, right, I want awakened air. Boom, there we go. There's 10 awakened air. Sorry, rousing air. Now I can turn those 10 rousing air back into 1 awakened air. What's the point? Just, what's the point? I'm sure there might be some reason somewhere, possibly, but doesn't make much sense to me. Right, let's get our materials ready. This will probably for, it's like the old enchanting essences. Yeah, I petitioned pretty heavily against that, and I hope that it was my screaming and shouting about it that did something about it. That you know, pushed Blizzard in the direction of going, oh, you know what, this is probably a bad idea. But with this, it doesn't matter quite so much, because it's just one of those fluffy materials anyway. What do I mean by fluffy material? It's fluffy in terms of that it's going to be gathered in many, many different ways. There's going to be so many different ways of getting all of these. Apart from the blood, you only seem to be able to get them through war mode and by doing PvP, which is going to make this an interesting item. But in turn, it's then also only really used when crafting PvP gear. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm not even entirely sure this will make it into the game. But there's so many different ways you can go about getting these. They're also used in so many different patterns and recipes that it's just kind of a bit of a... It's just a thing. You're going to collect them, and realistically, if you need them, they're going to be always available on the auction house. Herbalists and miners are quite likely to want to spec into getting these, though, because they are going to be a bit of a cash cow to begin with, I reckon. Right, let's get this level nice and quick, though. Going to have a crack at the Dragon Isle, so lurk mode for me. Enjoy the rest of your stream. Thank you very much, man. Have fun. Have fun. It's a fun leveling experience. Come on, why can't I get this last skill point? Game hates me. Ah, screw you. Create all. There we go. Engineering. So many stuff. I tell you what, this could end up being a really good profession for cycling it for the for easy artisans metal. Because now my list of first time craft bonuses is going to be ridiculous. Aha, more rousings are needed. Oh, hang on, one more. 15. Now what? Now what? I also feel that it could end up being in one of those professions you could probably level it up quite quickly. Because most of the time you actually level up engineering pretty much by just making the intermediates, making all the parts. You just spend a bunch of time making a bunch of parts, and then of course you can just sell those parts because it's a weird scenario that other engineers do buy them when they're the right price. Bottomless stone crust ore satchel. Hello. Oh, a mining accessory that doesn't actually increase the quantity of ore that you're going to be able to hold. Oops. Vendors finally up. Yeah, the profession vendors came up a few days ago. So we've been spending a bit of time playing about with professions. Pew ×2. Pest elimination weapon. Alright, sure. A bit of time. Yeah, a bit of time is probably an understatement, actually. I think I'm probably close to about 30 hours of playing this. Yeah, I think we're up to about 30 hours this week. Streaming at an odd time. I was going to be doing this anyway, so I was like, well, I might as well be streaming it. Might as well throw the stream up. I need lenses and I need stone hide crust to make those. What do I need to make these? Shock spring coils. And greased up gears. I guess while we can gain skill points from intermediates, we should just make them, right? Like, there's no... We're going to end up using them anyway. 17, 18... Oh, now I'm out of Tyrivite bolts. Of course I am. This is the engineer's life. Juggling materials to try and get intermediate materials, which you then turn into yet more intermediate materials. It's why it's so difficult to make gold with this profession, because it's not just... There's so many layers to it. There's so many layers to it, and some of those layers it's profitable for you to craft it yourself. Then it becomes profitable to buy the things off the auction house in the first place because somebody else has undervalued them. There's a whole weird bunch of shenanigans. And then all ultimately for an item that you know is probably not going to sell because it's, you know, some PvP bomb or something. Bit of a boo. I need 2 skill points. Can I just get 2 skill points easily? Game, please, possibly. I guess these, right? Potion of the Hushed Zephyr? Why the flipping hell do I need to start making this is also the annoyance for me. Out of nowhere, it just throws something really random at you that you need. Can I buy frameless lenses off one of these? Or am I going to have to make a jewel crafter just to craft that damn thing? Oh, Lord. Hang on. This was what I needed for something. Yeah, these things. Here we go. Boom. That's a bit odd. You kind of get almost like, even before you've hit 20 skill points, that's a bit weird. You get kind of like capped on what you can do. That might need addressing. Do you suggest Blizzard just delete those crafting levels then? No, not really. It adds flavour to the profession. I'm looking at it from the perspective of making gold with it, which is never really the intention of engineering in the first place. It's difficult to make gold with it because there's so many different variables in it. And it's just far easier to just not bother. But as far as the profession goes, it adds, you know, it's thematically correct for an engineer to be tinkering with things and making something and then putting something else on it and then grabbing something else and smushing it all together. from a gameplay perspective, it makes a lot of sense. It just doesn't necessarily make it quite so good for making gold with. On the plus side, if engineering's popular enough for its utility, you could probably make some decent money on the better quality parts. That's true, actually. A lot of people pick up... it's weird, right? They pick up engineering not because they really care so much about the professions, but because it allows them to craft something that you need to be an engineer for to use. It then does kind of mean that if you push your engineering to higher qualities, you might then be able to sell those bits and pieces to the people who don't want to level them but still want to try and, you know, utilize the profession at least a little bit. Engineering's always sat in this kind of weird spot. But it's a weird spot that also sort of makes sense, which is kind of why it's weird. Like, this is an odd spot to be in. This is an odd situation to be 30 points into a profession and there be nothing that's going to guarantee as a skill point at 30 points in. You expect that at around 40 or 50. But we now somehow need to get to 40 points. With what? With what? That's very weird. You kind of get hard capped real quick. Is there a sensible one to take to begin with then? That just instantly gives you a new recipe or something? Not really. Learn how to create haphazard tethered wires, a spare part finishing reagent. See, that's not going to be... Upon unlocking this specialization, learn how to create a wormhole generator. That can't be what they expect people to do, though. That's not very... Because I bet if I look at the pattern for the wormhole generator... What's the odds that that's one that gives me skill points? Where is it on my list? Wormhole generator. Gives you skill points. Guaranteed skill points. But it requires arc-like capacitors, which I don't think we know how to make yet. It also requires reinforced machine chassis. I think this makes... Okay, we know how to make the reinforced ones. Do we know how to make arc-like capacitors yet? We don't, do we? That's what we learn at... Ah! Engineering's scuffed. It's all hella busted. The trainer gives you nothing that's going to give you skill points. There's only one spec that's going to quickly give you a new pattern, which is Mechanical Mind. When you learn Mechanical Mind, you unlock the wormhole generator. But you're not going to be able to craft that because you don't know how to make the arc-light capacitors yet. And you don't know how to make these until 40? We need to be skillful. We need 10 skill points out of somewhere. We're not strictly hard capped, but the only thing that you can make that's even remotely... See, this isn't really a valid option because it uses artisan's metal. Your only option is to make some of these things. and make a boatload of them. But this feels a bit odd because, oh, I suppose this one, this then is the only one that doesn't require some outside. Oh, okay. A couple of them don't require any outside intervention. I'm just thinking that the frameless lenses comes from Jewel Crafters, and the stone hide, stone crust hide is not something you can reliably guarantee to be able to get. Yeah, that feels a bit odd. That I think that's. I don't know how I can easily put that back to Blizzard, but that doesn't sound quite right. There's no way you should get like 30 points in and be like questioning your life. Well, I guess then we probably 3 or 1 greased up gear, a bunch of Tiravite bolts. Let's make a bunch more Tiravite bolts then. Need rousing fire apparently. We're chunking through rousing fire, leveling this up, you know. Sounds like somebody needs to make a leveling guide for engineering. You know what's quite amusing? Well, it's amusing to me anyway. Genuinely, one of the most popular videos on my channel is my engineering 1 to 100 guide or whatever it was for Shadowlands. It's over 2 years old at this point and it still gets views to this day. Which is incredibly rare for a YouTube video, especially on a channel of my size. And it's clear that, you know, so many people pick up engineering for the utility, and they don't want to figure this shit out. They just want somebody to tell them the answer. So if I was purely chasing YouTube views, you're right. An engineering leveling guide would be in high demand, I reckon. The days of being bothered to figure stuff out is over. I think there's lots of people that would agree with that statement.
Is that your wallet? Or are you just glad to see me? Both, I hope.
Who be this? Pulsation X gifting the sub. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Ladon Dragon, you got yourself a gifted sub, my friend. Make sure you send your thanks. Put the engineering leveling guide behind a paywall. Oh, you can tell we're a bunch of goblins in here. You know what a regular you know the shit a regular streamer would get if they even suggested something like that. You guys are telling me to do it. Oh, that's genius. Makes me laugh. Appreciate all the work you do for us more casual goblins. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right, what do I need this? I need more, more of these greased up gears. Right, make a bunch of those then. If you put the whole thing behind a paywall, people will just ignore and move on. I'm not getting into a marketing conversation on a Sunday afternoon. That's far too serious a topic of conversation. We'll keep those sorts of conversations for a Tuesday afternoon or something when I need some content. Right, this should now... we can still only make 10 of those. That still might not necessarily get us to 40. Maybe then, what do we need to make... well, let's make 10, and let's then see how many more we still actually need. Please don't go green anytime soon. If this goes green, we're right in the bin. Six for 6, though. 7 for 7. Oh, we missed one. Okay, we missed 2. We need to make 2 more, and it's gone green. That's... oh, my lord. That's even more gross. I was really hoping it wouldn't go green so quickly. Alright, well, I'm just going to cheese these because they're easy for me to make for the purpose of doing a quick test here on stream, but long term, when the game goes live, the leveling of this is horrendous. Engineers alone are going to suck up all of this awakened fire. Yeah, you're right. 39, 40, finally. Finally, 40 skill points, meaning we can learn something new. Now, the other scenario could very well possibly be is that there are some easy to acquire. There could very well be some easy to acquire vendor or renown patterns, right? If you can get, you know, if you hit renown 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that, if you unlock some engineering patterns, then they may be the ones that are actually your true ticket. Because by dinging level 70, if you play the campaign and you do a few side quests, you should probably be renowned 2 or 3 with most of the factions anyway. So if there's some really early patterns, you may have to just take 5 minutes out of your day to actually go and, you know, get that pattern from the renowned vendor and level up using that way. So it may not be quite as bad as it presents itself here. But this is one of the big reasons why I want to try and track where everything comes from. If I can track where everything comes from, it means that when I go to make those leveling guides, I can be, you know, I can spot those problems ahead of time and hopefully provide a solution for people as well. Even the arc-light capacitor, we get it, and it still only gives us, still doesn't guarantee us skill points. Where do we need to next? We need to get to like 50 next, right? Before we max out. 50, we then max out on vendor recipes. Or trainer recipes, I should state, to be slightly more accurate. So we've got to get 10 more points out of something from somewhere. And at this point, it's arc-light capacitors or bust. So... and these are not cheap, because these are going to use an awakened frost, an awakened air, and 2 Kazgarite ores. These could easily... I'm already under the illusion that Kazgarite ore could quite easily be like 200-300 gold a piece. These awakened... it wouldn't surprise me if the awakens themselves are a couple of 100 gold each, if not more, to be honest. Because your rousing frost might be 50 gold each. You never even know at the start of an expansion. If these things end up being 50 gold a piece, all of a sudden your awakened are technically worth like 500 gold a piece. Just pressing the button once could be a few thousand gold on this. Not to mention whatever goes into here. Crafting system is too much insane. It's the thing is, right, there's a few new things that sit on top of what is... not much has actually changed. This is the thing. Once people realise that this new flashy bar and this new recipe difficulty and skill, once people realise that this all sits just on top of what is the old school crafting system at heart anyway, not really much has actually changed. Not from a simple levelling up perspective anyway. There's a few more bits and pieces on top of it for those that really want to kind of, you know, if you want to spend the time and you want to min-max and you want to sort of specialise in stuff, the options for you to do it are there, but... I guess then I need to try and make 10 of these. I need shock coiled springs and probably lots of them. How do I get lots of those? I get lots of those by crafting lots of Tyrivite bolts. I get lots of Tyrivite bolts by crafting lots of this. Right. Go. Just make me a buttload. Dungeons are just killing different targets and moving away from swirlies at the end of the day. It's the small things that make a difference and create fun. Yeah, exactly. I think that there'll be people out there that will spend a surprising amount of time trying to play with this. Because it will be, for most people, be something new to play around with, right? Even if they don't stick with it, even if they play around with it, they level it so far, and then they realise, actually, you know what? I've hit 50 skill points now. This is starting to slow down. Now I have to start actually pretending to be a goblin. There might be a bunch of people that dip at that point. Maybe, you know, they'll do their daily and they'll get their knowledge and they'll throw their knowledge somewhere in a spec tree and won't think too much about it. And then maybe they'll come back to it at a later date. But at least it was, at least what I can very clearly say is that I think most players are at least going to have a little bit more of a play with professions than they would do normally. Because it's new, you know, you test it, right? Even if you don't do Mythic Plus now, when Mythic Plus came out, you tested it, right? Even if you're not big into your raiding, you'll still probably run LFR just to see what it's all about. But crafting Tyrivite bolts for hours is going to get painful. I probably need at least 10 of all of these, so I need at least 10 of these. Let's make 13 for fun. And actually, engineering, with all of these intermediates and the different levels of the intermediates, if you are good at maths and you enjoy the challenge of doing that, you can min-max the crap out of this. Because things like resourcefulness and multi-craft are going to play a massive part here. If when you're crafting Tyrivite bolts, instead of using 6 Tyrivite ore to make 1 to 3 bolts, if you start getting resourcefulness procs, if you stack your resourcefulness up, you'll end up using a fraction of the amount of Tyrivite ore. And that saving, you know, is more and more and more and more effective every time you go one level further up. Could be quite interesting. Springs. We need more springs. Give me some more springs. Let's just make all of those. Downside of engineering being that most items actually require engineering to use. Yeah, there's always this long time argument that if they got rid of a little bit of that, might it be a more, you know, might it be a better profession for gold making? But then again, do they want to make it a better profession for gold making? This has always been my question. Is that, let's be honest, do they really want it to be a gold making-esque profession, or would they rather it be you know, that utility kind of profession that it is? Do Blizzard think there's a problem with how it stands at the moment? I don't think they do. Right, make a few more, and we should then hopefully be able to make a bunch of arc-light capacitors and at least hit 50. You rely on other people's laziness to profit from it. That's the biggest single way to make gold in this game. Find something that somebody else doesn't really want to do, and you do it, and then sell them the thing that they didn't want to do. It's the underlining, you know, goblin etiquette. If you want to make gold, do something that somebody else doesn't want to do, and then charge them for it. I mean, that same theory will get you pretty far in life generally, even outside of a silly little video game. You go out there and you find something that somebody else doesn't want to do and do it for them, and then sell it to them. You'll do well. 44. We're not even getting... Oh, it's hit 45 and it's gone green. This could be offensive to get to 50, you know. 47. 47 and we're out of mats again. 47. Damn you, game. Even with cheap vendors, this is hard work. Right, I need grease... I need shock spring coils, like lots of them. which means I need Tyrivite ore, Tyrivite bolts, and rousing earth. 25. Okay. Go. Make me all of those. The Looterang in WoD was amazing. That was quite cool, actually. Until multi-boxers realised what it was. We're going to need to make more Tyrivite bolts now, aren't we? Lord have mercy. So we got a bunch of shock spring coils. We need greased up gears now. Greased up gears need, you guessed it, Tyrivite bolts. And it's it's actually Tyrivite that we're out of now. Now in theory I could have been making this whole process a little bit better by using better materials, but who's selling me all the ore? You're selling me the ore. Give me another 1,000 ore. Right, go. Awakened reagents, the new primals. Yeah, for anybody fresh out of Classic, you'll understand what these are. If you're fresh out of TBC Classic, if you're heading into Wrath, you'll understand these. Any more info on work orders? Not really, unfortunately. We've been given a few sneak peeks to answer a few of the questions that we've had, such as things like the soulbound materials are going to be required to be provided by the buyer. The crafter will have practically no responsibility of providing any of the big ticket materials. There's the possibility that, you know, you as a crafter will need to supply some of the basic ore and whatever, but that's, you know, it depends how big of a tip that's left, right? So, but the clarification that the big soulbound limited commodity items are for the most part going to be needed to be supplied by the buyer is basically answering the big question that we had about it. So we just need to see the interface and see how it works and see if there's any obvious downfalls to it at this point now. But if you take a little bit of a look-see at the total of these awakened materials, I've gone through 30 awakened fire just getting up to level 47 in engineering. Just crafting mass amounts of these intermediates. It's very top heavy on the awakened fire. A fair amount of frost, a fair amount of air, but I've absolutely obliterated my supply of awakened fire. But then again, even if, like I said, even if they end up being 500 gold apiece, it's 15k. In today's world, 15k just for one material to level up Hartley is nothing. It's nothing. Right, are these 13 arc-light capacitors going to allow me to hit 50? I need 3 skill points. 48. 2 more. Still 48. 49. 1 more. I've got 5 chances. 4. 3. Yeah, we got there. Sometimes we're lucky. Sometimes we're lucky. Right, what's... Whoa. Come back. Where's the last ones we get. Now we get some binoculars and stuff. Right, okay. So there's everything that's vendor. Everything that we get from the trainer, we now have. So we can mark all of these off on our list. Yeah, it's very clear to me that crafting intermediates. It feels a lot like Inscription. In terms of you're constantly churning through different materials. Obviously with Inscription you're milling and then you're making inks and you're taking those inks and you're adding them with other inks to make better inks. Feels a lot like Inscription in that regard, with the only potential downside being that there just will not be the payoff like there will be with Inscription. Inscription's looking good. I think anybody that tries to Zerg Darkmoon cards will have a blast. Even though Darkmoon cards are very different this time round, I still think there'll be stupid money to be made off them. Especially considering their primary component now becomes awakened elements, not herbs. Because people will assume that running around gathering all the herbs is the ticket to making billions with Darkmoon cards. Not so much this time. That's definitely video worthy, actually, I think, at some point. I really need to put some collective information together about the Darkmoon card situation. Even if all my video does is tell people that it's different. Right, let's mark these on our list. That was the main reason we were doing it. Bit worried about the cards, though. The probability of the ace is only 1%. Well, this is what we don't really know. The aces are on the aces on the vendors currently. I'm kind of wondering if they'll make it so that the ace is only, because they've not done this before, but they might make it so that that one card can only be acquired out of booster packs. You know, kind of Spectral Tiger level sort of stuff, you know. That if they make it so the ace can only come from booster packs, then it doesn't matter if the cards drop out in the world. Because the reality will be is that all the money will be in the ace. All the money's in that ace then. You'd be better off just trying to, you know, sell aces. Because they're a commodity. They'll be on the region-wide auction house. One of the biggest, if they do that, one of the biggest ticket items in the first few days will be anybody that's able to craft an ace. It'd be really funny. And if that does end up being a thing, I probably won't do much with them. I'll just flip the aces. I'll just snipe them up off the auction house and sell them for 10 times the price. Once people realise, shit, these were actually really quite rare. Right, where's my spreadsheet then? Let's get these tracked. Let's get all this lot tracked. So what did we get from the trainer? Arc light capacitor. This is a trainer item. Let's copy that. Assorted safety fuses. No. Ever burning blasting powder. Yes. Greased up gears. Yes. Reinforced machine chassis. Yes. Shock spring. Yes. Handful of Tyrivite bolts. Yes. The rummage through the scrap thing we didn't learn via the trainer. That must come through the spec trees then. This is a trainer pattern. That's a trainer pattern. The only tinker was a plain displacer. Goggles, battle ready. All of the goggles. You just learn from the trainer. But then the fact that it requires engineering still. Yeah, that's an odd one. Yeah, when I was talking about the fact that the bind-on pickup materials are going to need to be supplied by the person that puts the order in, we're talking here about Sparks of Ingenuity, Primal Chaos being the big two. There's there'll also be the I can't remember what it's called. The infusion thingy-mabob, the material that drops to up the item level. I wish I could remember what the flipping hell the name was for that now. That thing will also need to be supplied by somebody putting a work order in as well. Sunday and you're on. 7 days a week. 7 days a week. It's busy season right now. Busy, busy. So all of the goggles, one of the weapons, the pew that came from trainer, one scope, gyroscopic kaleidoscope, that's a trainer pattern. Primal deconstruction charge. And the creature combustion canister, both trainer recipes. And then we have finally the profession equipment. None of the devices. Bottomless stone crust ore satchel. That one. Draconium brainwave amplifier. Draconium delver's helmet. Draconium encased camouflage. The Draconium Fisher Friend. That one and that one. Okay, so the basic stuff we get, we're going to have to hunt out the better stuff. All starts to make sense. Okay, now to check the spec trees then. Do we learn any patterns through here? I hope so, because there's still a lot of stuff we don't know. There's still a lot of patterns we need for engineering. Here's to hoping at least a good few of them come from the spec trees. Otherwise, we're in for a world of hurt. Can't decide. Do I take 1 week or 2 vacation for the Dragonflight launch? The first week is obviously the ridiculous week. Although gold making is going to be in a funny situation, right? Because the first week or two, there will obviously be something that will be super lucrative. Obviously, everybody assumes it's going to be Dark Moon cards, but I've not looked into Inscription in enough detail yet to really decide whether Dark Moon cards are a thing again or not. But usually gold making kicks in a couple of weeks after. The big gold making rush is more about when people first get access to like Mythic Plus and the raids. You know, it's actually the season start, which is a big thing for goblins more than anything. But the first couple of weeks of an expansion are just the best weeks by far. You can't beat them. Engineering is 10% faster. No messing about. Just crafting all of those intermediates is just faster. Definitely need some of that. No patterns. Learn how to use the spare part finishing reagents. That's not teaching us anything though. Learn how to use wisps of tear to improve quality of your parts and crafts. No. Oh, that's big. That's big. That might... Oh, that's big. Whenever you create a basic engineering part, you have a small chance to receive a random rousing element. Like we've just discussed, the amount of these flipping The amount of these goddamn Tiravite bolts we're crafting. Now, that's probably not going to... that's not going to result in a net positive for you, because you still need rousing elements to make those components in the first place, but... That's what she... Oh, did it? Yeah, alright, sure. Relax. Oh yeah, the scrapper. That's an awesome tooltip. That's an awesome tooltip. Whenever you use your tinkers or throw bombs, you have a chance of recovering a piece of scrap. You can rummage through the scrap to uncover truly useless but valuable components that can be peddled off to uninformed buyers. It's going to give you grey transmog items, that's what it's going to do. Engineering being paired with enchanting might be a thing, you know. It sounds like a weird combo, and I understand it sounds like a weird combo. But this Zap Throttle Soul Inhaler thing has synergy with enchanting quite nicely. Zap Throttle Soul Inhaler. Where's that on my list? Zap Throttle. That's going to be a device, right? Surely. Yeah, there we go. So that's a spec tree. Where is it? Optimized. Optimized efficiency. The node is called Scrapper. And we learn it. How many points in? How many points was this? 20 points in. Elbow deep. 20 points in. Right, any more then? Rummage through scrap now has a chance of finding unique treasures. Boy, would I love to have a quick and easy loot table of that. Gain a better understanding of how to handle your own death traps, reducing the likelihood of bombs exploding in your face. Genius. This is oh, here we go. Learn how to create an I win button Mark 10, which allows you to cause massive damage in a large area on the Dragon Isles once per day. Once per... a 24-hour cooldown on a bomb? Oh, Lord. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. Where's the I win button then on my list? I win button Mark 10. The tree is explosives. You mark this down. What's the node called? Oh, the node is just called explosives. Was it? Yeah. 40 points. Woof. Not a cheap one, that. It's like 100k damage or something. It better kill a world boss in one shot. Could you imagine? That would be that could be really funny in in PvP. In PvP, that could be hysterical. You see, you fly over the raid entrance to see if anybody's got war mode on. Fly over the raid entrance where everybody's chilling at the summoning stone. Boom! Oh, that could be really funny. They'd never put anything like that in the game, though. Nothing that could flat out one shot you. There was too many sapper charges in vanilla and abuse of that for it to make it into the game nowadays. But it would be funny. Whenever you craft a regular bomb, you have a small chance to also create an easy throw variant of the same bomb at quality 1 if you know its schematic. That's clever. That's an interesting proc chance based system, isn't it? How do we learn the schematics for them then? You have a chance of recovering salvageable parts when digging through meat piles caused by bombs. I tell you what, they've clearly leaned into the whole engineering using tinkers and bombs and stuff. The weird thing for me, though, is I tend to feel that engineering is a profession, is more taken by, Mythic Plus guys who just bounce from one summoning stone to another. They're not really, a lot of this is cool, but it's only really going to be cool outside in world content. Maybe it might incentivize more people to take engineering just because it could be fun. Learn how to create a suspiciously ticking crate, which gives you a large assortment of bombs once a day. Nice. That's one we need to note down. Suspiciously ticking crate. The explosives tree short fuse was the node. And how many points in? 30 points in. Wow. You really have to go to town on some of these nodes to learn things here. Oh, here we go. Easy Throw has its own specialization, so... Your ingenuity combined with the terror of throwing dangerous bombs may inspire you with the schematic for creating their easy throw variants, if such a device is possible. In addition, you may now create assorted safety fuses, which is a crucial component for these easy throw bombs. Oh, clever. That's quite a smart way of learning new stuff. So through crafting bombs, by the looks of things, you may learn their easy throw variation. I like. But we learn the assorted safety fuses straight away. Explosive trees, easy throw. And we learn that straight away. Learn how to create the suspiciously silent crate, which gives you a large assortment of easy throw bombs. Very clever. Very clever. Easy throw. How many points was that? 30 points in. By the way, buy up some Dark Moon water because it's cheap right now. It works on Dragonflight. Don't we think that the Dark Moon Fair comes out like practically the same time as... Or I suppose that's hard to tell since we don't have a release date yet, but either way, it's not a bad shout. Right, next spec tree. Some of these specs have got to give us a lot more patterns than this. We're running short on patterns or schematics, I suppose, since we're doing engineering. Unlock the ability to use spare parts on your equipment. Learn how to create the haphazardly tethered wires, a spare part finishing reagent that will improve the outcome of your crafts somehow. I do like this. I do like this. It's funny. Right. Function over form. How many points in was that? 10 points in. And what was it called? Haphazardly tethered wires. That one. So it's in the function over form. And it's on the same node. The node with the same name. And we got it... How many points in? I can not remember. 10 points in. Learn how to create the overcharged overclocker. Overcharged overclocker. That's how many points? 40 points. Okay. Gear then. Crafting epic goggles or guns now has a chance to inspire you to create combat-orientated epic braces that can be enhanced with a tinker slot. Eh? What does that mean? Crafting epic goggles or guns now has a chance to inspire you to create combat-oriented epic braces. So there's just going to be a random chance it'll make a pair of braces? Eh? Discovery mechanic for the bracer recipes. Apparently so. That's an interesting one. The question is how difficult does it become to... Because it specifically says crafting epic goggles. Goggles? It specifically says crafting epic goggles or guns. Now, if it's epic goggles or guns... These are all going to require your sparks of ingenuity. There is no epic ones that are free and cheap and easy for you to mass produce. There's your epic goggles. These ones are not epic. Your weapons. We don't even learn the gun. We do unlearn, and we take a little bit of a look at the other weapons. This is the gun. Once again, spark of ingenuity, primal chaos. you're not going to have very many chances at these. And that's even if you want to craft them in the first place. This feels weird. So weird, I'm very tempted to test this one out now. Because I can cheese it. Let's buy some of these materials and try and cheese this a touch. See what happens. I need some more reinforced machine chassis. I probably want to make it so I can make 10 of these. I've got the arc light capacitors I need. I need 7 more reinforced chassis things. Which means I need more gear wheels. Which means I need more rousing fire. Oh lord. It never ends. Fishing without nodes will give you fish and grey items. I was finding a lot of grey items by fishing, yes. It's a scarily high amount of grey items that were worth a considerable amount of gold. I think it needs to be toned back a touch. Right, let's get some of these intermediates crafted then. And then let's take a little bit of a looky at... So, it was goggles. Which one of the goggles? Don't suppose it matters, does it? I don't think it matters. Okay, I need 40 black dragon seared alloys. Yeah, you're right. The track recipe is going to be helpful here. I need enough to make 10 of these. So, 10 sparks of ingenuity. 500 primal chaos. The awakened order we're good on. I need 20 frameless lenses. They're on one of these here somewhere, right? Surely. I know what the icon looks like, I just can't see it. Is it going to be this one? Because it's a Drawn Craftery type thing. Frameless lenses. What else did I need? 40 black dragon seared alloys. Black dragon seared alloys. Right, that should be it. That should be enough to make 10 of those then. If we make 10 of those... Where have they gone? If we make 10 of those, do we think we will learn all 4 of these? There's complicated cuffs. Difficult wrist protectors. Needlessly complex wrist guards. The over-engineered sleeve extenders. Do we reckon it's going to be... Oh, hang on. It's not going to do any of it if we don't spec into it, right? We need to spec into it here. So we need to unlock this. We need to put... How many points into this? Enough to unlock a sub-spec. Hang on. No knowledge points. Please hold. Did I pick up a knowledge book? I didn't. There's a cheat book for knowledge. Caught the live stream, nice. Hey, thanks for the heads up on Discord. 10 points in here. Was it 10 points? No, only 5 points in here. Have some of that. Unlock a sub-spec. Now, how many points in here? 5 points in here. Should now give us the ability to proc those braces when crafting epic goggles. The question is, does it? Right, we'll do them one at a time. This, in theory, is going to give us a recipe. No. Oh dear. Ah! Oh dear. Okay, we got a first time craft bonus all the same though. Still no pattern. For reference, these sparks of ingenuity, we suspect these are going to be time gated so that you might only get one of them a week. There we go. After 3 crafts, we got the difficult wrist protectors. Right. These notes are going to be discovery. Requires hang on. What was the spec tree requirements to do this? Gear. Function over form, gear. Function. Jesus. Function over form. Gear. 5 points. Craft epic goggles. That'll do. That's a really weird scenario. That's really strange. That the discovery of the braces is going to be inherently linked to crafting goggles in the first place. Only the epic ones of which are going to, because there's very little reason you should ever really see work order. I wonder if that's odd. I wonder if recrafting also counts. I wonder if doing recrafts for other engineers, if you become the skilled engineer and you get the ability to recraft somebody's goggles, maybe doing a recraft would also... Oh, this is odd. Fulfilling a work order for a recraft, maybe, would also give you the chance to learn... That's madness. Okay. That presumably might make these it might very much make that these braces end up being just like DOA. These feel almost too complicated to even get the pattern for. So much so that creating this may inspire combat-orientated bracer schematics. So once you've learned one, you might be able to learn the others by also crafting this. But you've got to somehow learn that one to begin with. Oh, it actually says here, look. Creating this may inspire combat-orientated bracer schematics. It says it on all of these. But only the epic ones. Does it say it on the weapon? Yeah, it does. Now that we've unlocked it. Wow, okay. If you only get 1 spark a week, then the question arises whether some players will be patient. Hunters wait 2 weeks to get their hunter weapon, or will they just buy 2 mail pieces instead? It's very true. It's very true. If you take a look at the PvP community, though, they will usually pool resources for a couple of weeks to get their weapon. Because their weapon is your weapon is usually the biggest upgrade you're ever going to get in most cases. And hunters will agree with that. Your weapon is like the you know, a weapon upgrade can be an easy 10% DPS upgrade, far outweighing the benefit of upgrading like 1 or 2 pieces of gear in most cases. But you're right. Like, is the average player going to think like that? Probably not. Okay. That's an interesting twist. This is the first time I've seen a combination of both having to spec into I mean, it's only 10 points, to be fair. But you had to spec in very deliberately to even be able to give yourself the chance to discover something. That's a mad one. Whenever you craft greased up gears, you may be inspired with new cogwheel schematics that can be used when crafting goggles to allow its secondary stats to one of your choosing. Okay. Well, that's where we get the cogwheel ones from as well. This is a real discovery-based system here, isn't it? What do we need to unlock this then? More points here, presumably. To unlock this one. So now, when we make greased up gears, you may be inspired with new cogwheel schematics. Is that going to be true for all of the cogwheel schematics? Let's make a bunch of greased up gears then. Greased up gears, these ones. Tyrivite bolts, because of course. Let's make a bunch of these real quick. Are the bracers considered embellished? They'll only be embellished if you customize them. So these goggles, for example, I know you asked about the bracers, but the goggles we made, these are just basic ones. If you... The embellishment thing, which is a two item limitation, will only be if you use some of this stuff. If you infuse it with power, if you customize its secondary stats, and if you attach a safety component, then the use of these will cause it to become embellished. I believe. Well, it may not necessarily be all of these. Maybe it's actually only if you use the safety components on it, then it becomes embellished, I think. Because actually you should be able to infuse it to increase its base item level, and you should be able to use missives on it without restriction, I think. I think it should actually, maybe thinking about it more, it's probably only if you use safety components on it that it will turn it into embellished. But I'm still guessing because I've not tested that. That would be my assumption. I don't have the skill right now to do that. I'm out of rousing fire again. Right, now making these greased up gears should, in theory then, give us some of these There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cogwheel patterns. There's 4 cogwheel patterns, these ones. Meticulously tuned. Yeah, here we go. Now it's got the tagline. Creating this may inspire cogwheel schematics. Let's see if we can get all 4 of them. There we go. Rapidly ticking gear. One size fits all gear. 2 more. I just want to try and confirm that all 4 of these come through this same. There we go. Meticulously tuned. Can we get the last one? The razor sharp gear. Boom. There it is. Okay. So that means I can do some notes on my cogwheels then. It's a discovery one again. What was the spec tree that we needed? Form over function. Gears for gears. And you get it straight away. And once you've unlocked the ability to discover it, you discover it by crafting... Oh, what was it we needed to craft? Greased up gears. One interesting twist. I like it though. I like it though. Bit of flavour to how you learn things is cool. With the work orders, you can craft bind-on pickup gear for others. Yes. That's the theory. So all of these patterns and all of these items that you make that are bind-on pickup, realistically, it's designed so that somebody else that wants it puts in a work order. Now, I should clarify, we've not seen the work order system properly yet, but somebody puts in a work order. They are then going to be required to provide the soulbound materials needed to create that, which will be your sparks of ingenuity, your primal chaos, and then they can either choose to or choose not to provide some of the other materials. So things like, you know, the two bind-on pickup ones here are your sparks of ingenuity and your primal chaos. These other ones, if they're good, they'll provide all of these for you. And then give you a small amount of a tip. If they don't provide all of the materials, if they're expecting you as a crafter to fulfill some of the materials to complete that order, then they better back that up with a sizable tip. But let's see what the social norm becomes. That's going to be the problem, right? Are people just going to try and scam the crafters into, like, giving them half the materials for free? We don't know. I mean, if people try that funny business, they might just not get that order filled, which is kind of what you'd hope, really. Learn how to create the magazine of healing darts. Magazine of healing darts. What the hell is that when it's at home? That's going to be a device, right? Surely. Nope. Oh, it's an optional reagent. There it is. It's in the form over function tree. It's in the gears for gears. But how many in was it? 10 points in. Much can be learnt from failure. Whenever your tinkers malfunction, you may be inspired with safety component schematics, which are optional reagents for gear that improve their safety or alter malfunction behavior. You may now insert safety components into your crafted equipment. Whenever your tinkers malfunction, you may be inspired by safety components. This is really cool. Presumably then, what does it consider the safety components? Is it going to be these? Is it going to be these optional reagents? No, because the magazine of healing... Much can be learnt from failure. Whenever your tinkers malfunction, you'll be inspired with safety component schematics, which are optional reagents for gear. So they're part of the optional reagents. Okay, so it's going to be these 3 patterns here then, isn't it? Optional reagents. We know where the magazine of healing darts comes from. That comes, 5 points earlier on. So your critical failure prevention unit, optional crafting reagent, provides the following property. Tinker slots in this device can no longer catastrophically malfunction. Hang on, where'd it go? Calibrated safety switch provides the following property. Reduces the likelihood of this device tinker malfunctioning by 15%. So presumably that's just a cheaper version, right? Arc light capacitor, shock coils, greased up gears, reinforcement chassis. So basic items. The prevention one requires 5 primal deconstruction charges, which is presumably something else we create somewhere else. Primal deconstruction charges. Primal deconstruction. Oh, we know how to make those. Those in and of themselves take quite a lot of components, though. Oh, but 1 craft of them makes 3 to 5 of them. Alright, cool. And then spring-loaded capacitor casing. Provides the following property. The tinker slot within this device will sometimes dislodge the battery instead of malfunctioning. Alright, cool. No idea what it actually does, but it sounds funny. Okay, so we can assume that those 3 work in the same sort of way. If the buyer provides crafting materials, do you think we'll be forced to use theirs? Or can we use our own stuff to make up for low skill? This is what we don't really know. See, this is the thing, right? This is what we don't really know. This is why I have lots of questions about the work order system. Because let's say, for example, you're trying to fulfill a work order for somebody that wants a quality 5 bit of gear. Now, under normal circumstances, you might be able to make quality 5 bits of gear, but you're only able to do that by stacking high quality components that you've also been able to craft. If somebody wants a quality 5 and they provide you the materials, but the materials they provide you are not high enough, yeah, there's lots of questions that we just don't know. The initial implementation that we've seen on the alpha and is currently implemented on the beta is so early days that none of these questions can easily be answered, unfortunately. This is why I've from the more I look at the work order system and the more I think about it, the more I realize that it could just be unnecessarily complicated to counter for all of these like oddball situations, which would then probably mean that Blizzard would try to uncomplicate it, and in dumbing it down will end up with it actually being really quite restricted. And the more restricted it is, the less that people will like it. So it's kind of cursed. If it's cursed from both angles, which leads me very quickly to the belief of make them bind on equip and let me craft them and let me put them on the auction house. That should be the backup option. If all of the work order stuff is far too much like hard work for some people to deal with, their alternative option would be to just buy it off the auction house and buy a base version of an item that they can use their fancy schmancy component that they get from the raid, and they use that component on a basic version of the gear and it upgrades it that way. Like, I'm really concerned this work order system could fall flat on its face if it's too complicated. But until we see it, we don't know. Until they actually give us a working copy of it, we don't know. Let me update some notes then on these optional reagents before I move too far. So these are also discovery. You discover them from... Oh, that wasn't the right paste, was it? What was the spec tree in question? You discover them from form, function over form. Is it still the gears for gears one? Yeah, it's this one. Gears for gears, but 20 points in. But you are then still going to need to have things fail. How are you going to quickly craft and use a bunch of stuff to make it fail on you, to make it so that you can learn the pattern? That's a really odd way. Much can be learned from failure. You're going to need to use a bunch of items enough times that they fail on you to then hopefully learn the recipes for these. Odd. It's you certainly can't argue the creativity side of it though. I just, it's practically untestable though. I mean, I could just craft a whole bunch of stuff and keep using it over and over and over and over again until it malfunctions enough that I learn the patterns, but right, do we learn any patterns through utility? Learn how to create the completely safe rockets, which are a set of ammunition that will deal a small amount of area damage with ranged attacks. Hang on, bear with me 2 minutes, boys and girls. I think the wife's home. Back in 2. Right, where were we? Okay, I've got to get these last few down. This has been an incredibly slow profession for me to work through, but for good reason. We've learnt a lot from it, I think. What are completely safe rockets, though? Is it a device? Or was it an explosive? Nope. I genuinely cannot find them on my list of recipes at all. Am I being really dumb? What did it call them? Completely safe rockets. I think they've been renamed to something else. The easy thing to do is to spec into it. Learn the recipe. Oh, it is called completely safe rockets. What the hell are they? Oh, it's in the scopes and ammo section. Where's my scopes and ammo section? Why do I not have a scopes and ammo section? Oh, I do. It's all the way down here. What a donkey. Okay, that would be why. So that comes from the spec tree. Function over form and then utility. And you get it straight away. Okay, right, next. Next. Learn how to create the endless stack of needles. Which was, what, 10 points? 10 points. More scopes. High intensity thermal scanner. Oh, here we go. Now it's all falling into place. Now it's all falling into place. Now we've got a lot more recipes coming through. Right, last one then. Mechanical mind. Oh, this is the wormhole generator. Wormhole generator. Spec tree. What's it called? Mechanical mind. Okay, there's our wormhole then. Traverse around the Dragon Isles, assuming you're not too picky. Not too picky. Did I miss inscription milling experiments? I did it very quickly, but I need to devote a little bit more time to it because there's a little bit more to it. I realised once I got going. Why did that not... Why does this not work? Why did it not teach me the wormhole generator? Why didn't it give me the wormhole? Why is that one not a thing? Why did that not work? Okay, that's just broken then. Maybe a reload. A reload usually fixes these things. No, still doesn't work. Earned when mechanical mind is learned. Well, I learnt it, and it didn't give me my wormhole generator. So I guess I'm not testing that thing very far. Fine. Is there any more? Learn how to use spare part finishing reagents. The cooldown of your wormhole generator is reduced by 50%. Oh, Lord. People aren't going to be able to use and abuse engineering for the wormhole. They're going to actually have to level it a bit if they want it to be, you know, sensible. What does it... what's its cooldown naturally? 2 hours. It's 2 hour cooldown. No, what's it now? 15 minutes? Ooh, Ouchester. It's 15 minutes. I think it's... Is it 15 minutes? I think it's 15 minutes. 2 hours can be reduced to 1 hour if spec'd into. Learn how to create the Savior, which is a friendly and helpful robot who will offer moral support and a team-wide resurrection in the event of untimely demise. Oh, well, I think that stands to reason that engineers are going to go this route for this anyway. If you're an engineer because you need a wormhole generator, you're probably going to try and unlock this thing either way. I like that. It means I won't feel as if I'm missing out without engineering. To be honest, though, the wormhole generator is not going to be anywhere near as effective in Dragonflight. You can zip from one side of the map to the other with a dragon with dragon riding like super fast. The annoyance for everybody in Shadowlands was that if you wanted to get to another Mythic Plus dungeon entrance, you had to go through Oribos every time, which added 3 minutes of flight time to your journey. Which was super annoying. Getting places was annoying in Shadowlands. Dragonflight, it's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. Right, where's this savior business then? Let's mark that down on our tree of info. We get it at 40 points. Big points. Big points. Right, what are we getting through here then? Inventions. This has got to give us a few bits and pieces, right? Surely. Your tinkers can no longer catastrophically malfunction. What happens if you spec into this? Right? Here we go. Here's a solution. Here's a theory for you. What if you spec into this so that your tinkers can no longer catastrophically malfunction before you learn, where was it? Before you spec into this. Much can be learnt from failure whenever your tinkers malfunction. So if you what happens if you prevent failure? How can you learn from failure if you prevent failure? Is that a loophole in the system? Bricked? I think I found a loophole. If you cause your tinkers to no longer malfunction, you can't learn from them to learn new stuff. Derp. Unlearn, start over again. That's it. Reroll. Uninstall. Delete. Alt F4. Delete system 32. Goblins learnt how to divide by 0, so it's going to work. Trust the goblins. Somebody will figure it out. Okay, either way. Here we go. Improve your understanding of the mayhem that you are capable of unleashing, reducing the likelihood that your tinkers will malfunction. Which profession for trinkets? Jewel crafting and inscription. Learn how to create tinker arc light vital correctors, which is your battle res. Oh, that's what they've called the arc light vital correctors. Okay, that makes sense when you think about it. So that's our tinker. How many points in was that? 20 points in. Now we're going to find it on my list. Oh, boo. Where's it on my list? You would assume it was a device, right? Apparently it's not a device. What is it? Where is it? Okay. We do it this way. Oh, goddamn, I'm out of knowledge. Where's me cheat knowledge book? Tinker, arc light vital correctors. Oh, it's there. That's probably why I missed it. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's why I missed it. I was looking completely in the wrong area. So, for reference, it was mechanical mind and it was inventions. And we learnt it after, what was that, 20 points? 20 points. Right, any more for any more in this tree. Further improve your understanding of mayhem. Learn how to create a Tinker Super Kaleidotron, which is a tinker usable only by engineers such as yourself that allows you to make a very distant target charge towards at the speed of sound. Cool. These are some of the things that really need to be crafted and tested, but is the kind of thing I'll probably never get round to doing because I've got too much other stuff to be doing. But it's cool either way. Right. Novelties then. Whenever you craft Fireflight, you immediately cast it for free. I don't know what a Fireflight is. Firework, surely. Learn how to create a centralized precipitation emitter. Oh, this is the toy. This is the weather toy. This thing's cool. I even did a video on this. This thing's really cool. Centralized precipitation. Centralized precipitation emitter over there. A TLDR for what's been going on today is quite simple. I've been just trying to level up professions and at the same time tracking as many recipes as I can so that I can, you know, collate a list and it becomes easier to find out what we know and what we don't know and try and hunt down the things that we don't know. Five points in. Learn how to create a cartomancy cannon, which is a toy that allows you to fire fated fortune cards at friendly targets. Sometimes wishing somebody good luck isn't enough to get the point across. This is like that supreme money gun. This is quite a cool one. We get that, what, 10 points? 10 points in. Learn to create element-infused rocket helmet, which is another toy that propels you far into the sky. What was it called? Infused rocket helmet. Element-infused rocket helmet? Element. There we go. It's that one. And then that was, what, 15 points or was it 20? 15 points. Learn to create a giggle goggles, which is a toy that allows you to view the world as if you're overrun with gnolls. Yeah, scary. So all of your toys come from this one. There's 4 toys right away, straight away. 5, 10, 15, and 20 points. Learn how to create the environmental emulator, which is a toy that allows people to perceive their surrounding environment in different but unexpected but familiar ways. Loads of toys. Money in toys usually. Especially now you have to spec into them. Precious specialization points. Learn how to tap into signal transmitters scattered across the Dragon Isles to triangulate your wormhole generator to specific locations. Oh, okay. Okay, well that's just instantly killed the value in all the toys. That's killed all the value in all the toys. That one node, because people who use the wormhole generator a lot are going to make a beeline towards that one once they've got their wormhole, so that it can be more specific when they use it, which means they'll accidentally be able to make all of these toys. So, okay, most of the value's dead. Oh, well, it was fun while it lasted. Okay, but that didn't actually teach us a pattern then. Okay, fine. Right then, so with engineering then, it was a worthy adventure. In fact, let me see. That's probably an easier view anyway, isn't it? Because you guys can see it all. So, we've learned the location of most stuff. This rummaging through scrap comes through something. This comes through the spec trees as well. I just, for some reason, forgot to put that one in. I'll go back and find that one in a second. We know where all our finishing reagents come from. We know where all our optional reagents come from. There's still a bunch of tinkers that we don't know where those come from. We're going to have to go and investigate a little bit further for them. Goggles is a tick box. Discovery of the bracers presumably is the same for all of them. I guess now is probably not a terrible idea to make those other sets of goggles just to see if that's the case. We got the mats together to make 10 of them, so we might as well make a few more. We're looking for complicated cuffs, needlessly complex wrist guards, or over-engineered sleeve extenders. Any of these three. Only one schematic in 7 crafts is not fun. Oh, there we go. Over-engineered sleeve extenders. Oh, Lord. That's going to annoy people. Only 2 procs. Only 2 recipe procs out of the 4 after 10 crafts of goggles. Let's hope that you, let's hope that fulfilling work orders or upgrading or recrafting goggles will also count towards this. Because otherwise, if you've got to dedicate 10 sparks of ingenuity, which are presumably going to be rare as all hell, likely to be ultimately maybe 1, maybe 2 of these a week, to limit the speed in which people can fully kit themselves out in crafted gear. Ouch. Not to mention the inherent cost of making these. For you to craft it when you don't need to, just as a discovery mechanism, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt a lot. But okay, presumably then, this is the same for all of these. I'm going to copy these for all 4 of these, because I'm going to make the assumption that they're all discovered in the same way. Our weapons, we still don't know where our big endgame weapon, the big sophisticated problem solver gun, our pew pew gun comes from. Cogwheels, didn't we say that didn't we learn all of the cogwheels the same way actually? Didn't we learn all of those? Cogwheels, yeah, we did. We got all of those the same way, so that's a nice copy paste on this one. We need to find 1 scopes and ammo. But the rest we can get through the spec tree. We have no idea where any of the fireworks come from, but let's not mess about. Who cares about the fireworks? There's all of the easy throw stuff. There's a discovery mechanic for the easy throw stuff. When you craft when you craft or use the non-easy throw version of it, there's the chance of making the easy throw one, right? Is that what it was? Something like that. Can you test if recrafting works for the discovers? Possibly. Let me then grab a handful of frameless lenses and black dragon seared alloys. Black dragon seared alloys. Was it 4 each? I don't know, just give me 50 of those. Can't remember the numbers. And a bunch of these. If we recraft is this everything we need to recraft? Artisan's metal, awakened order, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. So let's see if through recrafting a bunch of these we can make. So we recraft it. Nope. Recraft it again. Nope. Why was our skill increasing though when we did that? Now it went back down again. Did it go back down again? No, it went up. That's weird. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, I think that's a visual glitch. Okay. That could be a visual glitch. Eh? That doesn't make any sense. Why do they have different... Why is this bar different positions up? Recipe difficulty 300. Skill of 167. Select a same but different pair of goggles. This bar's in a completely different spot. Ah? I think... I wonder if when an item of gear is crafted... See, this could be really handy for add-ons, you know. It's difficult for me to explain why. But it seems to be as if the crafting skill is somewhat embedded into that item when it's crafted. So that... in fact, it must do that in some way, shape, or form, so that something can never be recrafted at a lower quality. But that... Okay, that's completely off topic. I need to test that in a little bit more detail. But, unfortunately, it seems for the purpose of... For now, at least, for the purpose of finding these extra bracers, only creation of things goes towards learning the new ones, not recrafting, which is a bit sad. I think the engineers are going to bitch and moan about that like a machine, and I don't blame you. But where did I get to? So yeah, we know a lot of the explosives come through a discovery system. We're then missing a few devices. Expedition multi-toolbox help, portable alchemist lab bench, portable tinker's workbench, neural silencer Mark III. All of the good profession equipment we still haven't been able to learn. And then to a duckoi and a quacky. So there's still a fair few things we need to locate, but most of this, hopefully, when we do a sweep of the factions, will uncover most of the answers. But there we go. So that was enchanting and engineering done today. I still have leatherworking, I still have tailoring, and I still have cooking to go through. And this is just purely for trying to locate and track patterns and stuff. There's so much more I need to do with all of the professions. So, but I'm going to leave it there for today, boys and girls. The wife's home now. It's about time for me to think about going and cooking some dinner anyway. So I'll love you and leave you. We don't usually stream on a Sunday, but I'm quite surprised to see just how many of you did turn up to say hi today. So thank you all for that. Appreciate it. We'll be back again tomorrow. Back to the regular-ish schedule tomorrow, probably, hopefully. Can't see why not. But enjoy the rest of your weekend, boys and girls. Have a good one, and I'll see you all tomorrow in a bit. Peace.